All right, we'll give it a shot. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, well, I think things are kind of working. I don't know, the Old Tube Radio Network here. Trying to do what we do on Saturday nights here in Central California. 27085 Channel 11 is the frequency. And your Old Tube radios and a whole bunch of other ones will be featured here after the roll call. So hopefully you can stand by and join us. My name is Dennis, Net Control Operator for the Net tonight, where we will be talking about the classic Class D and maybe other citizen band type of radios from their inception in late 1958 to when it was all solid state in 1978. But somewhere in between, you will be hearing some classic radios check in from our operator collectors tonight. First, we start with the directed net roll call, the shortwave listeners who may or may not have tube radios, but that's okay. We'd like to hear from our listeners, find out what they've been doing this weekend, and let them say hello. Some of you may be joining us at 27085 live on the two-way stream. Some may be right here at the video stream, and others may be listening in at oldtuberadio.net. I see some of you out there. So we will commence to begin and see what we got. 00 is where we're at. Let me put the right screen on for the video people, and we'll look for our current 00, which is 507, Radio Dog 507. I think he's over on the video screen. Let me head over there and see if he is up and running yet. Not quite yet, so we'll take a check on that. Also, SWL number 1 from the Cosmos, maybe riding in on the Neowise Comet. I have been seeing some great amateur photos. At least in the Central Valley, you kind of have to get away from the street lights, get out of town. I've tried looking for it. It's too bright here in the city. But if you go out a little ways, or you're in an area where it's dark, it is not too hard to see it. I've seen some great shots from cell phone videos, believe it or not. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, who is probably 9 pounds and good modulation at Chestnut and Herndon. He is out there checking in and looking good tonight. Hello, Kevin. SWL3, I've got a proxy check in for Rob. Takes us to SWL4. SWL number 5, I saw Ida. She pulled me over the other day and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just hanging out." She said, "Say hello to all the tube radio operators and SWLs." And so I will do that for Mama Rose. SWL number 6. SWL 7.
Let's proxy and Ed. He had stuff going on tonight.
Okay, he may be live and direct a little bit later. I think I heard him pre-show wise, so that's pretty good to know that he was radioactive today. Thanks, we'll get him there. We jump up to SWL 13. That is Michael, Mr. Cobra. And my screen is not working. All right, well, that's okay. We'll keep an eye on the comment section. SWL 14. SWL 15. I'm not sure. I'm beginning to think that they doused the power in Easton. You have to pay extra or something. I haven't heard Fred in a while. SWL 16. SWL 17. I'll keep an ear out for Eric. Sometimes he pops in on the video side. On the audio side, Centerville, Virginia, Woodland Park, Colorado, up in Toll House in California, Somerville, South Carolina, coming up to you. Hello to Central California in Fresno, Tulare Fish Camp. San Francisco, probably X4000, who is out there waiting for the net to begin and also probably running around with the Jingle Singers tonight over in Studio B. Santa Ana, that's a new one. Hello, Santa Ana, California, out there off the 5. No doubt. Derby, New York, as always, in the front row. Always here early. We have some good refreshments on the early side when we are doing the check-in and the tune-ups. So that's always a good time to show up. And even in the footlights, that's Charlie out there in Anoka, Minnesota. Hope all is going well. We'll check in with all of you a little bit later as we head into the roll call here, looking for SWL 18. Have a proxy check in for Mikey from Facebook. SWL 19. SWL 20.
Number 20 here. Check in 29 and 54. And somebody forgot to turn on the air conditioning in my radio room. So it's hot. Africa hot. So I'll check in and I'll be back later.
Yeah, I made a mistake earlier and I switched it from like the cool air to outside air, and so it was almost 90 degrees in here a while ago, but it is doing pretty good. I've got the right controls, and I think it sort of did blow up the computer. Everything looks good. Everything's up and running, so hopefully it stays that way. You were sounding good, Harvey, and we will catch you on the cool side, if you will. Trying to get there it is, the check-in clicked in. SWL 21, I know JT is out there. As usual, skip busting from the Wasama Swamps. He was on Channel 11. He had the dial set to Channel 11. And at the same time, I was listening to my Channel 11 here in Fresno, and there was absolutely nothing. And, of course, JT was killing it on his radio tonight. In fact, what radio was he on? Let me go over to the video, and it says playback error. So maybe I don't know. He always blows up my computer. I wanted to see if I get his audio coming in. It says he was on the Lafayette Telstat SSB 140. So that must be the good skip shooting rig tonight. And it looks like it doesn't want to load the video. I know you put something up tonight. It's just taking a little while to load the stream. So maybe it's still uploading the audio. We'll have to go to it a little bit later. But Mr. JT, you are checked in. And, of course, as usual, my comments aren't working. I'm trying to see. Yeah, you're checking in after being tired of cutting off lips and ears in DX land. You got the big prize tonight, no doubt. You always have you need to put one of those take a number things. Take a number and I'll talk to you. But he talks to everybody. He's a good guy. Thanks, JT, for checking in. SWL 22. Let's mark out in Texas. I don't see any Texas stations logged in. SWL 23. Mitch, who he's been hanging out with Simon and Garfunkel. He's been rewriting history. Where are you, Mitch? 23 Skidoo. I thought I saw you on the scroll down page. Checking in from downtown Aptos by the sea, also known as Shark Park. How are the sharks doing? Are they spotting anything in July? Probably great July weather where it's probably overcast and foggy, and then that all burns off and you have a nice 70-something degree there. Not like 102 or whatever it was here today in Fresno. Hello, Mitch. And I don't know. I wonder if we will get any Q-birds checking it in tonight. We'll have to stay tuned for that. SWL 24. SWL 25. SWL 26. No, SWL, there's no 26 here. SWL 27. He is up and running. I don't know if he's got all the 2-meter items set up yet. SWL, where are we at? 28. With, I haven't heard any conditions yet tonight. Chrissy and Dwayne have a knack of somehow riding in on the ducting E layer and just kind of jumping in, like, you know how you do jump rope, where you start the rope and you just kind of jump in and you do your thing and you jump out. They've done that the last 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens. But I think Chrissy, I saw her up on the video. Let me get the right mouse. There's too many Mises and too many screens tonight. And the print is slow. Anyway, well, I don't... Yeah, there you are, 28 and 30 from Idaho checking in. Right in front of my screen. So we got you checked in. We'll see what happens with the skip tonight. We've got SWL 29 proxied in. SWL 30 also checked in. SWL 31... Robert and Teresa. Did I see Hendersonville? Yes. Up there in the top row, where the popcorn is always fresh. not like it is down here in the control room. I got you guys checked in. Over to SWL 32. SWL 33, that's myself, Bozo Control, the Jingle Singers, and I guess whoever else wanders in. Yeah, there's the honking proboscis tonight. Let me go to SWL 34. SWL 35. Got to look in my comments here. See if Cheyenne is up and running on the stream just yet. I will refresh. It takes a long time to refresh, so if I missed you, I will come on back. SWL 36. Shortwave listener 37.
37, good evening, Dennis.
And good evening, Chris. I would ask you what the movie du jour is today.
Well, I've been watching Netflix. We've been watching the Ozarks. We've got one more episode to go, and then that's over. That's what we're going to watch here in just a few minutes. It'll only go for, 15 minutes to an hour, but I'll be back.
Okay. I have never seen or done Netflix. I don't think I have a connection. There's probably one out in the green room, but it doesn't make it into here. So I'm stuck with my VHS tapes of Kansas City Bomber and Who's Minding the Mint. Sounds good. We got you checked in.
Well, good old Raquel Welch, huh?
That's right, and roller derby.
No doubt about it. What were they called? Oh gosh, I can't think of. I can't remember the name of them down in Los Angeles. That one group all the time. Was Shirley Modowney or not Shirley something like that?
Well, it was the Thunderbirds. I know that much.
Yeah, that's right. You had that little short guy on there too.
Yeah, I could remember. I'd have to be bringing up stuff from 40 years ago. I have trouble remembering 40 seconds ago. Sounding good, sir.
Right, that was Robbie Valdez. I know.
Roller derby. Sort of roller derby, what we do around here. SWL 38. I need to wear one of those helmets. SWL 39. SWL 40.
There we go. SWL 40 checking in.
All right. Well, you've been quiet today. I thought, well, maybe you were out up camping. Maybe you broke through the gates or something. But anyway, you are sounding good.
I wish I felt as good as I sounded.
All right, well, we'll get something to drink and relax and listen to the radios.
Whatever it takes to get off my feet.
Okay, sounds Sounds like a good thing. The Old Tube Radio Network is what you're listening or watching to, whether it's on, what is today, 7/18/2020, or in the future, which hasn't happened yet, at least for us, but you might be watching this. Called the Old Tube Radio Network, something we've been doing for 35 years on Saturday evenings to try and recreate with the tube radios the sound and the feel and maybe even the look of 1962 or 1959 or 1973. And I think we do a pretty good job, thanks to our shortwave listeners and tube radio operators. My name is Dennis, Net Control Operator. A lot of people listening in, watching in. Hello to Gary, who is our Sacramento station listening in. Harvey is working on his Robin T123B and also his Chris 23 Plus. Can't wait to get them so he can put them on the air up there in Sacramento. I don't know if we get some very short backscatter skip, we might hear them. And of course, Harvey has been displaying them, checking them out for us a couple times in the past. So we might hear them tonight before they get shipped out. So at least we'll know that they can and do sound good. SWL 41, Road Dog 507 is also our 00. There he is, checking in from Hudson Valley, New York. If I missed you before, sorry about that. And I'll also get you checked in as 00 as well. So you get the two, always the 2-for-1 discount. SWL 42.
That's Proxy and 42 in the gang.
Okay, I can do that. No problem. You never know who might be listening in. Let's try SWL 43. SWL 44. Hey, 44 is up and running up on the hill, or it might be cool. You can probably, I bet you've got a good view of the comet up there. Yeah, I looked for it the other night, and I got a good ISS pass over. It was one of those 90-degree right over the top, but just can't see the comet from here. So that'll be about 9:45 tonight, and we'll look for some first-hand reports. Here's a guy probably can see things up pretty well up in North Fork, SWL 45.
Oh, Dennis, 45.
Hey, Paul, hope you are staying cool up there, and you are sounding good on AM tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I had my main radio just broke down, so I'm on another one. Talk to you tonight.
All right. I hate that. I hate those breakdowns just before showtime. It seems like a weekly occurrence around here, but we will be listening for whatever you muster up in the collection here tonight. Going on to SWL 46. Shortwave listener 47. Reminder that the tube radios will be showing up here after the roll call tonight. And X4000 inquires, have the Google bots been in? You know, usually they show up just as we start the stream, and they don't stay on, the Mountain View Google bots don't stay on very long. I don't see them on. I see a couple of unknown SWLs. They're up there way in the top of the bleachers, I guess, with bags over their heads. But they are SWLs nonetheless, even though we don't know who they are. SWL 48. SWL 49. And Mitch, 23, brings up a good point. How about a check-in for Charlie Alpha Tango, who did not want to come in, and I don't blame him. I think it might actually be cooler outside. So I got a small dish of his favorite smelly gruel, and he is a happy kitty, and also checked in. I guess he falls under the conglomerate group when I check in 33, but thanks for thinking about Mr. Charlie Alpha Tango tonight. Over to SWL 50.
And a good evening, one and all. 50 here. Live and direct.
He is live and direct. You are sounding good in our third week. Oh, you know what? I hear audio because I've got the other. I turned on the little phone here so I could look at the comments, and I'm thinking I'm hearing an echo, but the echo is me and you. Thanks for checking in. That could become very confusing, but this will help me see the newest and greatest check-ins as we have one right there. There is Bill saying tardy from Cheyenne. Not really. Sometimes my control is a little bit on the weak side for looking at the comments. So I give everybody a little slack. Mr. Bill checking in from Wyoming. I hope all is going well on the Red Monkey trailer, but the weather is beautiful out there. Thanks for tuning in. The Saturday night place to be.
SWL 51 checking in.
And SWL 51 checking in. Hello, Dave. If you can hear me, over. All right, probably listening to the stream, maybe. Dave, if you hear me, you are checked in. I know you have a high noise level out there, so you are checked in. So 50's checked in, 51 is checked in, SWL 52. SWL 53.
Hello, Dennis. 53 checking in.
53 checking in. Mr. Bel Air, one of the Bel Air bombers checking in. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, sir.
I think I need a way to turn off the audio. I get so used to a big screen. The little screens are kind of tough. Page 3 is where we're at. If you're playing the home game, SWL 54 gets the comment, what do we call it? Cosmic check-in for Larry. SWL 55.
55 checking in.
55 checking in, and hope it's not too warm up there at the, what are you at, about 5,000 foot level? It might be a few degrees cooler.
It's not that cool.
No, I know it's not. When it's 100 degrees, if it's 5 degrees cooler, it's not that cool. And it feels every bit of like July in the Central Valley. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis.
Over to a guy who always keeps his cool. What's the advertisement? Cool, calm, and collected. SWL 56.
Indeed so, Dennis. 56, just for kicks.
And the kicks are good. I'm gonna be getting my kicks here in a couple of days, but I wanted to dress up tonight and look every bit of a net control while I still feel good. Thanks, Phil. SWL 57. Otherwise known as Brown Dog Audio, with a mobile check-in, coming back from his fishing trip, and hoping everyone is having a wonderful evening. Give us 2 thumbs up here, I think, here in the studio and over in the green room. I'll have to see what the Bob and Steve show have been up to. He's having a wonderful evening. Eyes back on the road. Boy, thanks. Now that's dedication. To listen to the audio stream while you are driving. Hopefully we won't do anything too wacky. But safety first. SWL 58.
58 checking in. Hope I'm making the trip tonight. A little bit of noise tonight. Hope everybody's having a COVID-free evening and has a great rest of the weekend. Thank you, Dennis.
Okay, thank you. You know what? Let me see if I missed, because my Friday schedule is wacky, I missed the Ditch Banks net, but I think if I turn up the audio, and that should be this control. Because my Friday schedule is wacky, I missed the Ditch Banks net. But all right, I know what I sound like, so let me get rid of that. and Jeremy's laughing. He says, "Yeah, all the controls. Here it is."
Almost everybody out here.
This is what goes on Friday nights.
One or two is a little light, but everybody else, I
And
can
there's
copy
Robert.
them, no problem.
I know that
Here's
voice.
111, sir.
Look how good
Yeah,
Reedley
Bob, I tell you,
sounds.
we're sounding good from Reedley. Whatever setup you have out there, I think you got the right combination for aluminum in the air and the radio. Sounding great.
Boy, when he's on AM, though, It just doesn't work. But that's the great receiver that...
We have operator 603, Joe in Fresno.
Evening time to you, Jeremy. 603 Fresno.
And there's Joe. We'll be coming up to Joe shortly here, but I wanted to pump that up. That is the Ditch Banks Net. That's on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 36 lower. That's 27365. And hostess with the mostest, Jeremy, who also does, Jeremy, don't go away because I want you to comment here, also does when he can, an SDR link up so you can actually see what you're doing over.
Yeah, so I was late tonight. I was going to try to get that going. It is going right now. It seems to be working. So, yeah, and I'll post it after your net's over as well. But we're going to leave it going as long as it'll run. And if you guys want to take a look at what amplitude modulation looks like and what your radio specifically looks like, and it's kind of interesting. And I'll leave it go for someone when we get the old tubers going and check it out. And, yeah, that's the story.
Okay, and that is on your Universal Media Net web at Ditch Bank SSB Net. Is that correct?
Yeah, it'll just be, if you search on YouTube, just type in the Old Tube Radio Network. I searched it here a little bit ago, and it's about a stream or two below yours. So, and I don't have a web page, so if you search the YouTube, just type in Old Tube Radio Network, and you'll notice the thumbnail picture next to it's a little bit different than Dennis normally has. So that should show the difference. And yeah, check it out.
Yeah, it's total coolness. It's what I should have, except I need a whole nother computer and probably another mouse. I'm not sure I have room for that. All right, thanks for that, and we will hopefully catch you on the Friday sideband net, open to all, everywhere, on any kind of radio. Cool stuff. Thanks, Jeremy.
73.
Then we go over to SWL 59. And the guy we just heard checking in sideband, SWL 60.
Yeah, appreciate that. Doggone it, playback. I enjoyed that. Wow, I wish I could come up with some of that stuff that you guys are doing. I have such a rock head that it just doesn't go through with me. Shame on the mess. Anyway, evening time to the SWLs, and let's check in Jake's base, 02901, the 25, the DX2527.
Will do. Always sounds good. It's actually listed here under SWL 60. Always enjoy whatever radio you might check in. Good to hear your voice. And sorry I missed you on Friday. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
Over to SWL 61.
61, checking in, Dennis.
And the guy with the good receiver, I don't know how he pulls me out of the mud every week, but he manages to do that and always sounding good. Thank you, Dean.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, losing my foot switch again. SWL 62.
Evening time, OTR. Hi, Dennis. This is 62 checking in from downtown Clovis. On frequency and on time.
And sounding good doing it. Rex, you must have a way to think cool thoughts, because no matter what the temperature is, you always come in sounding perfectly relaxed, like you've got your favorite iced tea or whatever, and sitting by the radio. So good job. And Lucky Lindy, he's over in beautiful downtown Clovis, where I think the weather is, the Chamber of Commerce says the weather has to be good no matter what. Just check their webpage. SWL 63, Bubba and the group and all our New York stations who listen in from afar and stay up late with us, checking in those tube radios. Over to SWL 64. There is somebody out there. Is that a break for OTR? Okay, did anyone catch the audio? I know that he was in there, but I'm not catching the audio.
Yeah, that was
650.
Okay, that's what I thought. He's not quite as strong as he was last week. Could be just the atmospheric conditions with all the smoke and comets and things like that. But 650 waving a hand to the group, and we are saying hello, radio, and we've got you checked in, and thanks for the relay. All right, thanks for hanging in there to my wacky, not so great receiver, but I can tell your audio's there. We hear the playback. It just I can't make it to the headphones, but it's 650. Runs a great station. Who's next? SWL 65.
65 checking in.
Okay, no trouble with that signal. On the video, I also try to leave the S meter up. So if you ever watch the playback, you will see. You'll be able to give yourself a radio report, I suppose. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
SWL 66. SWL 67. And 67 is Bill, who is up in Oregon. I'm looking to see Germantown, Wisconsin is in. Cricklewood. Where is Cricklewood? I'm going to load that. There is a station listening in Cricklewood. I think that's in the UK. At least that's where it's showing up tonight. So I'm thinking that it is, the sun is just coming up over, beaconing over, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, Cricklewood. Mostly cloudy, 61 degrees at 4:43 a.m. Quick facts. Cricklewood is an area of London, England, which spans the boundaries of 3 London boroughs. Barnet to the east, Brent to the west, and Camden to the southeast. The Crown Pub, now the Clayton Crown Hotel, is a local landmark and lies 5 miles northwest of Charing Cross. I probably mispronounced that as well, so I'm going to stop there. But hello to our listener there at 4:43 in the a.m. Over to SWL 68. SWL 69, Kenny, who out in Tulsa often listens in or checks in. I'm going to check you in, Kenny. So if you're listening to this in the future, you got checked in, because we know you are a fan of OTR, and we're a fan of 69 as well. Thanks, Ken, for checking in. SWL 70. SWL 71. Let me go to one of the various screens where I think SWL 71 may have checked in, if indeed I could get the items to display. Hey, there he is, checking in. Thanks, Stan. I always can rely on you to be there on my screen, whether I can see it or not. And also there is, speaking of on my screen, Bob and Steve got the ice machine and sink. No wonder everybody is cool over there. I've got no ice. I've got no ice in my drinks. The 30-cup coffee pot installed and 4 beer taps. I thought we weren't. I thought we weren't going to do that. We want the jingle singers to last until at least 10 p.m. I'm not sure what they'll sound like at 9:30 if the kegs are actually in there. Let's see what else. 4 tables with umbrellas that say OTR with white and black letters. I saw those when I came in. Pretty cool. And a poker table. All right. This is getting out of hand with OTR chairs. At least we're getting our logo out there. Have a good week. And oh, by the way, we sold that pile of dirt and paid off the OTR credit card. You know, they're out there digging. They probably found gold. So my guess is they paid off the OTR credit card and are on their way to Fort Knox, thanks to Bob and Steve in Ohio. SWL 72. SWL 73. Shortwave listener 74.
Mr. G, this is Miss J, and I'm checking in for Mr. 25 and me, and we're partying in the backyard on our 50,000 watt radio.
I could see the light kind of coming over over the hill there, and I thought it was the Neowise Comet, and then I realized it was the 50,000 watt Madera Heights beacon. So I hope that isn't the RF isn't heating up the swimming pool too much. But thanks for running. I know it's busy. You're busy being the host, but thanks for running into the Radio Shack and saying hello to all the SWLs and old tube radio operators over.
Yes, I have to take care of hubby. You know, he drives me crazy, but it's okay because I love you. Anyway, hasta la vista, baby.
All right, as we say in the radio, 72 plus 1, and thanks for jumping in, Miss Jilly, SWL 74. Also checking in SWL 25 from the 50,000 watt Radio Shack tonight. Over to SWL 75. SWL 77.
Well, good evening, Dennis, and hello to all the listeners, 73s, and 077 on the Tower of Power in the Tower District. Taking it all in and waving a hand, and glad to say that Louie is back up and running.
Good deal. That's 93. And thanks again. I've heard some of the highlights of that, so thanks for being safe, getting things up there, and living to tell about it. And Dennis, 1017, sounds like a 50,000 watt radio station from the tower, but I think he's a few watts shy of that, even though he puts in a great signal here. Thanks.
The power of intention.
Absolutely. Direct net roll call radio's coming up. I want to say hello to Charlie Hustle 55, who says he doesn't have an SWL number. Thank you for bringing that up. We don't, this is not a club. There are no numbers. There's no secret handshake. We've never charged dues, but we do welcome anybody, anywhere to participate, whether you're on a radio or a tube radio or no radio. That's an SWL can be anybody, right? Somebody listening in somewhere. And Charlie Hustle 55 says he enjoys it every week, stays up as long as he can from Baltimore, where he goes into the wee hours of Sunday morning, and says, thanks for keeping the airwaves alive. Well, I would say thanks to our tube radio operators who've been out with us all these 35 years for taking what it takes to set up a Radio Shack with the glow-in-the-dark radios, and then take time out of your Saturday evening to jump in the shack and say hello to us. That's a cool thing. We are looking for SWL 78. Hey, my comments refreshed after 5 minutes, and there is 78 waving a hand from the northwest. He's out there tonight, perhaps near Everett, Washington, but Richard, we've got you checked in. Thanks for, outside in Everett, Washington, where the weather is probably perfect in July. Let me check your button. There you are. And you are checked in. How about SWL 79? SWL 80? Over to page 4, patient people. SWL 81, Mr. Unicorn, who said, I think he was going to be reconfiguring things and moving things around. So Steve Areno, if you're listening or you hear this in the past, we've got you checked in. Steve is a long time listener and purveyor of tube radios, pretty much from day one here on the old Tube Radio Network. I think he even participated back when we had the picnics at Woodward Park and the old tube radio toss. Over to SWL 82 in the Ditch Banks.
82 checking in from the Ditch Banks of Iowa. Good evening, everybody.
Man, good evening. How are the ditch banks? They still got some dirt in them?
Oh, they're nice and sandy. The water is nice and cool. So, just don't flip your car in there and drown, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, don't be... But he's basically saying don't be stupid. And you'll be okay. That actually goes along for just about everything, including driving. Thanks for checking in.
Hi, thanks, Dennis. Oh, yeah, my signal just wipes out Jeremy's deal there. That's awesome. All right, take care.
Yeah, that's the big picture. Who's the guy on YouTube about seeing the double rainbow? When you key up on the Ditch Banks net, I start to cry. I see the double rainbow. Over to SWL 84. And you know what? I've got a note here to get Jerry and the gang checked in, which I will do. Over to SWL 85. That's John and Reedley. Maybe I should flip over to sideband when Reedley comes in. Did you hear how good? Did you hear how well Robert sounded on the Ditch Banks net on sideband? Man. Okay, then we've got SWL 86, 87, and 88. That's the Mountain Maid Tandy Girl and the Snowy Owl all checking in here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over to SWL 89. SWL 90 gets a proxy check-in. SWL 92. And hello to Wayne listening in from Virginia. Who else did I? Flash. Is it Flash.com? Anyway, he's there, and I think I saw coming down the tracks, Jimmy Fielder is hello out there, checking in. Going to be doing some research. He's got his crack research team out with the Browning Laboratories people, and is going to be posting on his various websites soon, I guess, some interesting factoids and history on Browning. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, Jimmy, for all the extra work you do. I look at all the pages and I'm thinking, how can anybody possibly be able to do all that YouTube stuff? Or no, I mean the Facebook stuff. But he's got a knack, that's for sure. Over to SWL 93. And Louie, if you're listening, we've got you checked in, up and running, 10-2 wall-to-wall. The SWRs are good from 1 to 40, so whatever channel that you choose to transmit on, you will be heard. So 93 checked in from the new and improved. That's what they used to say. Remember, they put that on the box of Ivory soap, the box of Ivory flakes of Brill cream, new and improved. The new and improved 93. Thanks, Louie. Over to SWL 98.
Checking in, Dennis.
All right, I hear you okay. Make it in here into Midtown Fresno. No problem, Dave. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Dennis.
Up to Mr. Cheesy E at Jeff, SWL 103. SWL 109.
Quickie?
Yeah, Quickie, go ahead. Over.
Yeah, Louie's on his way. He was outside.
Okay. Yeah, he can break in any time. I'm anxious to hear the radio here in Midtown town, and thanks for the relay on that.
Station?
The station. This is your Old Tube Radio Network. Go ahead. Over.
SWL 93 wants to check in.
Oh man, sounding good, looking good on the meter. If you watch the video, I'm not holding my headphoniums to try and pull you out because you are sounding great here at Net Control. Over.
Cool deal. Yeah, old Dennis put up my ground plane this afternoon, and let's just say I'm back up and running.
You are the way. What would we say back in the day? You are 10-8. You are wall to wall. You are treetop tall. You are 5 and 9. You're doing good. So put a Post-it on that thing and a check mark, and it's ready to go.
Cool deal. Wow, man, my SWRs are almost flat on 11.
Yeah, and that's in the. If we were on channel 27, they'd still be good. So thanks for checking in.
Check. All right, man, I'm getting back to my grub.
All right, take it easy, and you sound good. You sound good on the radio tonight. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you much, Dennis. We're clear.
All right, we called 103, 109. How about SWL 110? SWL 111, Robert checked in earlier. We heard him from Reedley, but he was having a tough time here in the central part of Fresno here tonight. SWL 113. And, Dave is, I'm looking at the comment scrolling on the video. Dave is mentioning the competition on the ham bands, and otherwise it says you could be fined for intentional interference. When we first started the SWL check-ins, we basically didn't do a roll call. We just said open for SWLs, and believe me, it sounded a lot like a DX pileup. Because there were, and we had a lot more SWLs 30 years ago. There was just a lot more people on the air on the stations, and it was pretty much for the first 15 or 20 minutes like a ham radio DX pileup, and basically the ones who were the closest and strongest to whoever the net control was got in first. Sometimes you can be sneaky and tune off frequency a little bit or jump in the space and work in that way. And we thought, you know what, it doesn't have to be like that. So we sort of confined it a bit and went to the directed net roll call. But back in the day, roll call for SWL sounded a heck of a lot like a DX pileup from the island of who knows where. But I do not have any tapes of the old days, I don't think. Let's go over to SWL 114.
114, checking in.
And Wayne, SWL 114 remembers that because for the longest time, I think he was, whatever our very first SWL list, he was like on the very tail end of that when we started doing that kind of thing. But I'm sure he remembers the wackiness of trying to check in. This way is probably a little bit better. It takes longer, but it works. Thanks for checking in, Wayne.
Yeah, I do remember, Dennis. Thank you for checking.
Then we are heading up to, I'll jump all the way up to SWL 128, looking for my comments being to be refreshed, but yay, verily they are not. Let me run down. I thought I might have seen the ever popular, John Lee, always there on time. Let me get you checked in, and also said it was hot today, 98, worse. Worse. I like that. You should be a weatherman. The high today is 98, and tomorrow is going to be worse. And now for sports. That is the way they should give the weather. And I bet the humidity is probably not too far behind that 98. Thanks, John Lee, for checking in from Fairfax, Virginia. Over to SWL 131. SWL 133. Hey, Dr. Dave, I am glad to hear you through my headphoniums out there in northwest Fresno. I hope you are hearing me fine and hope all is going okay over. Okay, you are in my noise level a bit, but I can tell you are in there, and I am pleased to put the X in the square, and thanks for checking in. Over. That's Dave out of northwest Fresno, who has a pretty cool radio room that covers not only 11 meters, but probably frequencies above this and frequencies below that, with antennas that do quite well. Over to SWL 135. SWL 137, we have a proxy check-in for AJ. Let's try, I think I heard him on checking in on the sideband, and that sounded pretty good on SSB. SWL 145.
Well, good evening, Dennis, and the rest of the patient people. This is Tony 145 in Course Code. Feeling pretty good. got a new microphone yesterday for my radio that I use on Wednesday nights, but I'm also in a predicament. I also picked up a FT 101 Bravo on Thursday, so I don't know whether to try to fix the 100D with the new microphone or try to get the 101B going.
Well, let's see, the 100D, that's the small solid state radio, right? That's a small radio?
Yeah, the 100D is just a mobile setup as a base, Roger.
Yeah, that's small. That will probably be, assuming it works or you can make it work, that would probably be a pretty decent radio for sideband in ease of operation, albeit it's very menu intensive. The 101B, if you don't have the digital display readout, it's going to be a little more difficult to run on sideband, but it's non-menu intensive, so it may be a little bit easier to drive. So I vote for getting them both on the air. Over.
Okay, just one more question, if that's okay. With the 101B, do you need to run the antenna analyzer?
Well, when you say antenna analyzer, do you mean an antenna tuner? In theory, that has the sweep tube finals. So if you have a match that is not quite perfect, it may be able to run it a little bit better. The 100D is going to have some circuitry that if your match is above 1.5 to 1, it's going to start shutting the power down. But in theory, you would kind of want whatever frequency you're on for your antenna to be semi-resonant and or, a tuner to make the radio happy. But the 101B will be a little bit more forgiving on matches that aren't so good. But you still want to stay in the good range, 2 to 1 or 1.5 to 1, especially for the solid state radio. Over.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Dennis, for the advice. Yeah, if you don't hear me on Wednesday nights, I'm still playing around trying to figure out which one I got to get going. Roger?
Okay. I think I heard you on one of the net replays, and you sounded good. And you're sounding good on AM tonight, so no problem. Then we go over to SWL 147. And I want to say that I did see... Wow, we got a lot of comments, a lot of people out there tonight. I want to say, think that I did see Neil jumping in somewhere. Oh, you know what? He was probably on this screen down here. So let me see that. Hang on. Yeah, there he is. Checking in from Kakalaki, SWL 147. Conditions very good at times, but tend to fade out very fast. Well, you're close to I guess, JT, that area where when he's on in the afternoons, late afternoons, it's just always Skip. And he was on Channel 11. Skip is running on the East Coast. Nothing's happening out here. Mostly north and south on the Skip. No sign of the West Coast. Yeah, that's for sure. And 73 from Kakalaki. Thanks, Neil, out there in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Let's head up to... radios are coming right up. Radios are coming up, so don't go away. Warm those two radios up. SWL 195. From Course Gold, where I think everything is cool. I know there's some fires going on, but they're somewhere else. Mr. Starliner, sounding good, and not sure if you've tried to look for the comet through the pine trees up there, but probably should be able to see it. What time is it? It's coming up in about 45 minutes, probably. All right, well, I know you can see Jupiter. That's always, if you go out there for something, always look for Jupiter. Who's the breaking station? This is OTR.
Low check-in, 79.
All right, from somewhere, SWL 79, Back over to page 3 and worldwide, everywhere else at oldtuberadio.net. Thanks, DC.
You bet.
And then we ask for SWL 226. And then anybody else, any other items of interest before we hook up to the Tube Radios. OTR standing by. There's a station there. The audio is distorted. I think you're on AM. Give it a try again. That sounded like sort of flat topping AM. Could have been FM. All right, I am going to take a moment, get set up for the Tube Radio check-ins, and I will be back with your Tube Radios. This is the Old Tube Radio Network.
Audio, check 1, 2, hello. Uh-oh. Huh, a little bit of feedback. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello. Oh, that's a heck of a Roger beep.
All right, we get the audio and the video synced up. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Yes, the Old Tube Radio Network. Got an audience tonight out there. As we always do, the shortwave listeners somewhere near and far. We are now in our radio portion of the net. Let me jump over to and the controlman and Chrissy always being as practical as she is, saying, "Why in the heck are you wearing a suit tonight?" Well, somebody mentioned that it was out of uniform. I still have probably the summer shirt, the net control shirt here. Where is it? Where does it say net control? Somewhere. Is it? Did I put on the wrong shirt? No, it's there. So I don't know. You got to be in uniform, right? And there is a little bit of air flowing. What I should be doing is doing the net from next door, where they have all the cool stuff. Not here in the control room with all the. They put me in the equipment room, basically, is what happens. I'm here with all the tubes, but for tube radio stuff, I like it. All right, I've got the radio list. I am ready. OTR standing by.
45.
And there is 45. Hello, Paul. Step up into the air chair. Do not delay here at 9:03 Pacific Daylight Time on the 18th day. I got to sign in here. It is July 18, 2020 on the tube radio list. And I hope you're hearing me okay. Tell us what you've got. Over.
There was somebody else trying to come in. I think you covered them up. Might try out there again.
All right. Thanks for standing by. Who is the station breaking for OTR? Over. You may be hearing them a bit better with your altitude. Over.
Okay. Probably somebody moves right later on. But anyway, I'd like to check in my Pierce Simpson Escort.
Are fans of Pierce Simpson, and there is now a Pierce Simpson radio page. We'll be happy to see and hear this radio. So I'm pretty sure that if I was go through the Rolodex file and bring up our Escort, I should have something. First, what I'll do, there's an advertisement which I'll put on the screen here, because it talks about the Escort being part of the trio, probably back around the mid-'60s, between the Companion 2, the Escort, and the Guardian, the Guardian 23. So it's sort of like, what is it, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Mama Bear, Baby Bear, and Papa Bear. So this is the middle of the line, $229.95. It sounds great. To take a transmission, we'll put up the picture of the radio.
Okay. You still don't have it in. There's a pretty good picture of it in there, if you find it. Anyway, this thing is manufactured, you got it, you're on it, manufactured in 1964. Its Companion 2 was also manufactured in 1964. So this is a Companion 2. This radio has a 9-tube with 3 transistors with 23-channel VFO receiver, 8 crystal control transmit channels. Really, really a nice radio. One thing I like about this thing is the string tuner. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
And you mentioned the string tuner. Someone might say, what is a string tuner? I'm going to see if I've got a full screen. No, I should have a extreme. There we go. And if we look into the center of the radio, there in the little square box, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost looks like little pieces of candy, but I'm going to say they're colored lights or colored lenses, 4 lights. And then below that is the tuning dial, which looks like perhaps something, when you're tuning your old car radio from 1964, and maybe they modeled it after that. The S meter's below that. So I'm assuming there's some control. You rotate that control, and that tuner, the little pointer, moves across the screen to the channel you want to listen to.
Yeah, it's an interesting tuner. Like you say, it's all lighted in different colors when you go between the channels on the thing. Very interesting. I like it. It's different. The S meter is rather small. You get pretty close to it and see it, but it's got a lot of greens in the thing. But I wish they had made them a little bit bigger. But anyway, it's got one anywhere. I tell you, I'm talking on my Turner SSB Plus 2 power microphone of this thing. It seems to like it better. I didn't get much modulation with the soft mic, so should give you a little bit more. Back to you, Dennis.
Audio is great. It's nice and loud. And from what I can tell, that's the same S meter that they put in the Guardian 23. I'm thinking their Companion didn't have an S meter, but this is, for being a middle-of-the-line radio, this is still pretty deluxe and, ergonomically well-designed with the controls. Let me go back over here, and then I'll switch and give yourself an S meter report with that. But it sounds good. I think that's a good choice on the microphone. I see controls, but it doesn't look like any of those are mic gains or range boosts or anything. So where you've got everything set is good for your audio. Over.
That's it. There's nothing that picks anything up other than my power mic. I got it shut down pretty low, so I don't believe it's doing any damage. Other than that, it's a real nice radio. This here is still the plastic one. I guess you've noticed that. Plastic blue. I don't know what color blue you call that. It's not a dark blue. It's kind of in between. And it's real neat looking, I'm going to tell you. It's got a place for crystals in the bottom middle there, too. Also, you stick the transmit crystals in there. That's about it. Back to you.
Yeah, I see it there. Sounds good for $229. Is this... I didn't ask. Oh, it's 8-channel transmit. 23-channel receive. So I guess that's why they're middle of the line. If you wanted the full 23 channels, you had to jump up into the Pierce Simpson Guardian 23. Hence the 23. 1964 when this came out, although it looks pretty modern. Could have been 1974. The original price $229.95, which wasn't cheap back then. That wouldn't be cheap now. But you know how electronics were 50 years ago. It's our first radio, Pierce Simpson Escort, and it sounds good. Give us another transmission before you go, and thanks for bringing it by.
Okay. I'm going to have you put a frequency check on the thing, but I think I'm running a little high. But if it's good to understand without adjusting, then I'm sure I'm pretty cool.
All right, you just caught me right at the end, and it looks like you might be about 200 cycles low. You're really close to being on frequency. Over.
Oh, great. I didn't know you were taking it, but you were. That's good. Thank you very much.
All right. We're in the videos watching me contort here trying to get the radio off frequency and then back on frequency. You know, I'm going to, I just noticed, I'm going to fix the background. And I'll be right back. I got to step out of the air chair. I may, while I disconnect here, I hate to disconnect. I have my headphones for once set up right. Maybe it's the jacket is holding them in. Set up right, so I'm not fighting with them. So we'll see if I can suit up when I get back. But anyway, you were listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, and I will be right back as I make, what do we call it? We call it on television a scene change.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
Your favorite radio station, we hope, the Old Tube Radio Network. Someone's been playing with the controls back there. Back in the air chair with our scene chains, it looks something like that. And also, I took Chrissy's advice. So we ditched the jacket, and indeed, I do have the neck control. It does feel a little bit better without the jacket. In the 85 degree radio room tonight. They're looking for radio number 2.
60.
All right, just trying to get back in the chair so I can reach everything. Hello, Joe. You will be radio number 2 at 9:13. What have you got for us? Over.
Well, thank you much. I had a little trouble there getting up off the chair. Doggone it. Radio's up a little ways from my table. We're on our Robin T123B, and doggone it, pretty green radio with a little bitty stock mic.
Now, don't discount the small microphone. It definitely works, brings the audio through, and the picture we have from Cliff shows that actual would be the microphone that was issued with the radio. There it is. Big radio, though. And, of course, they put in the range expand to help you with that little mic.
Yeah, I'm always amazed by it. I always have to have a good grip on it. But doggone it, I just reached over and turned my old instant on, and she was ready to go. So we'd like to report my little radio here. It is a pretty radio. Has lots of lights, if you're into lights. And, of course, it does a little something extra special. It has about 9 channels, so it runs up about as high as 35.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere where I want to say it's a crystal, whatever they have in there makes the channels was able to do that. If you cross-wired or ran some wires around, it would give you some extra channels that way. So hopefully it's something you can use. Of course, you know where Saturday night you don't need to flip the switch. You just make sure that 11 is in the green dial.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Boy, it's a nice sounding radio. In fact, I like listening to it compared to my other ones. The tone switch on it, when you pull out the old squelch, it sets that tone, and boy, it's a good sounding radio. Everything's crystal clear. Speaker works fine, and damn it, I'm happy with it. Okay, doggone, we wanted to check this one in, and we'll get to the other one.
Looks good on the Orban audio meter, looks good on the S meter, and it is our second radio of the evening from Robin, who used the very popular Panasonic chassis from Japan at the time, 1972. And those radios probably would have went a lot longer, made it through 1976, and then, as we mentioned before, the FCC changed the channel band plan, and pretty much if you were a manufacturer with a 23-channel radio, you needed to get them off the shelves so that you could sell the thing that everybody wanted, and those were the 40-channel radios. Thanks for bringing it by.
Oh, thank you for letting me check it in.
I'm just looking at the comments. A 4/4 quad stack on 10 and 11. Now, I've talked to the guys on 10-meter AM that are running, they say they're running 21 elements on 10 meters, and I'm thinking that must be one long boom. But what they're doing is what Dave is talking about. They're stacking 7 over 7 over 7. So they've got 21 elements, but they're running, a lot of the guys are running the tick ring rotors on their towers, and they've got a 200-foot tower with other stuff, and they've got 3 10-meter antennas at various positions. There is actually a formula and a distance. So, the first one is a half wavelength, and the second one is 3/4 wavelength, and the top one is a full wavelength split between, and whatever it is, 18 feet or a wavelength apart. But when you start stacking things like that, you definitely need some altitude on your tower. Now, for a quad, I don't know. I've seen pictures of the guys doing the stacked moonrakers, but they're going horizontally with probably 36 feet with a tower horizontally with a tower vertically, and then they put the moonraker on either side because you have to have some guying in between all that. I've seen that before, but you're really giving yourself a narrow beam width for that. So yeah, your ERP, when you put that 5 watts in, your ERP coming out is something, but it's an engineering feat, not for the faint of heart. OTR listening for radio number 3. I'm not sure. Dave said he's got 3 Panasonic chassis ready. There may have been 5 total. That would be a good research project for the team here on, the Gemtronics and the Robin and the Fanfare and the ones that use those chassis. And you can kind of take a look at the front panel, and it's almost as if the company, if they paid a little bit more, Panasonic would say, okay, you're licensed to put in these lights and this switch. And if you didn't want to pay their little copyright or whatever, that said, well, no, you can't put in this light and you can't put in this switch. I'm not sure how they determined what would be on the front of the radios. But the inside of radios are about the same, but the front of radios are all different with extra or not so much extra stuff. The Old Tube Radio Network, where are those jingle singers? They're ready to go one more time.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
They're weak. The jingle singers are weak tonight. We have to tell them to turn up the audio over there. OTR listening for radio number 3.
45.
And hello, Paul. Thanks for keeping me busy here tonight. I think a lot of people are out poolside with the lemonade, or maybe it is about that time. Maybe they're all waiting for the Neowise Comet to come by so they get that cool picture on their iPhone. Now go ahead with Radio 3, over.
Okay. This is my General Radio telephone, VS-2.
All right, going for some early radios. The VS, which I believe stood for Vibration Service. And I want to say that's because General Radio Telephone said these radios are built like a tank, by the way, but we're configuring them for your mobile radios. They're smaller, definitely a lot smaller than the Master Control series. They don't have the rack handles, and for functionality, it's like I need to get on the air. Flip the switch to the channel, turn on the thing, adjust the squelch, and ready to go. Not a lot of things to think about, and basically you don't want to have to worry too much about it when you're driving down the road. You are Radio 3, Paul. Give us a transmission on the VS2 from General Radio Telephone.
Yeah, okay. The mic says to back off 4 inches, so I'll do what the mic tells me to do. Anyway, this is stock microphone for the thing. I don't know why it is more of a mic. It seems to be a little bit more powerful, kind of like a power mic, but it's definitely stock hardwired right into the radio. This radio should bring back some memories. SWL number 1 was one of his favorite radios, if not his favorite. He loved to check into some things. And I think he's still laying around somewhere around your place or something. Just like this one. Twins to it. They had a lot of fun. Anyway, good thing. It's just a very simple radio, like you said. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places up there for channels. That's it. Now you got the squelch, you're off and on. That's the story. House like this. You got a side mount speaker, not a front mount. But I tell you, this thing is made like a chain. I think you could almost drop it down 5 or 6 feet without any problem, but it still work fine. Really, really tough. It makes better for forklifts, trucks, anything like that. Very interesting. Thank you.
Does a good job, and yeah, I think I'm not sure I did a net control running the VS2, but I know I did check it in probably when Ed was doing one of the nets. It is here. There are 2. Let's see. This radio says it's from your collection. I don't know if it's the one you're running, but it says something about 2. There's 2 switches there. I'm not sure what those do. It's got the pilot light, and yeah, you mentioned SWL1. Dr. J, I remember when we would stay up late, and he would get on the VS2, and he'd be running the carbon microphone, and inevitably the audio would start to get a little weak or muffled, and Richard Cucumber said on a carbon microphone, they're using the same elements that are in the old telephones, and the carbon granules get messed up and tied up in there, and really you need to break them up. So he would bang, and like you said, built like a tank. He would take that microphone and start banging it on the side of the table, and believe it or not, it would actually make the audio sound better as it freed up those whatever carbon element crystals or whatever is in there, the carbon that was in that element on the microphone, and it would actually make him sound better. But there's got to be a way to do that correctly without breaking stuff. Over.
Yeah, sounds like you're doing a pretty good job of it yourself, banging it like that. Yeah, of course, a little noisier than what it should be, I think, on my end. But no, it's interesting. I give you that to the old microphone. They seem to hold up well. I don't know what that you mentioned, the carbon and all the rest of it, ceramic and all that stuff. Like the other one, so it's a lot clearer. These are just not that good like the new ones, like anything else, but they get the job done. That's it.
It's working. It sounds good. The VS2 from General Radio Telephone, and that was even more reasonably priced than the like the MC or what is it, the Master Control, the MC3, which came out about that same time. Power 112 volt. Oh, I can run 115 volt AC. There's a plug or a 12 volt DC. Notes, it says serial C9909 has 2 slide switches. Okay, that's the one we're looking at in the face of the radio that are not hooked to anything. Unknown if this was a factory modification or maybe a prototype that got loose and they were going to maybe think about wiring in an ANL or something like that, but they don't do anything. But they are there. Look like they're factory installed. The original price for that in 1962-1963 was $139.95 for the 4 channels, probably came, or 5 channels. It came with crystal for something, probably channel 11, no doubt. And then you filled in the rest. No nonsense radio, but that's what Class D was supposed to be. No nonsense service. Radio 3 sounding good. Thanks for the VS2. Over.
Yeah, they're interesting too. They say, they'll take the Silver Air Patrol at 36, and we're on 27 down here. You don't have to adjust. They'll take it all out, but no problem down here. So that's pretty broad. Very nice radio. Thanks for checking it in, Dennis.
And thanks for bringing it by. Trying to refresh my comments here if they will do that on at least one of my screens here at some point. See if anybody's got any comments or questions. This is the old Tube Radio Network. Real radio is going in the dark, and we are listening for radio number 4. And Richard, SWL78 says, XYL unboxed a Johnson Messenger Whiteface with a dark gray microphonium wired to the radio. 5-position transmit switch on the left. Need to take it into the shop and power it up with a Variac. Yeah, good idea. I need to get a Variac. I really do. I don't even have one. I would send a picture, but where do I send one? And he's saying via the Facebook. So, you know what? I will see. I will see if I can find that, and I think if it's on Facebook, I can actually run it into the system here. So thanks, Richard. We will see if we can find the aforementioned radio. It's just that navigating Facebook is always a real issue here. Hello, 60 over.
Thank you, Dennis. Yes, I'd like to check in my Johnson Messenger 223. Doggone it, I think we're warm enough with the original Johnson mic.
It's sounding good. In fact, we're just talking about... Well, I'm talking about the white face that Richard has. The Messenger 223 is, I want to say the third generation. I'll bring up a shot here. Here we go. So it started with the bones of the Johnson white face. They came up with the black face when they added more channels, and then the 223 is basically the Messenger 2. 23 channels, all nicely put in your rotary dial. And a cool S-meter. No little S-meter like the Pierce Simpson have. This is an S-meter you can see if you were putting it in the car, although this is actually a base radio. It would be... To run this thing in a car wouldn't be that easy. I think you would have to have some type of a AC to DC converter, DC to AC converter. Sounds good. You've got, as you mentioned before, and I'll get a shot of it in the other picture, the Johnson desk mic. Give us a transmission.
Yeah, Tim, for a while, doggone it, it has an excellent meter. And a fun radio to be on. It doesn't take a lot of know-how to work this one, except, of course, be sure you understand the squelch on it, because that's what turns it on. It doesn't, if you turn it up too high, all of a sudden your radio doesn't work. But doggone it, it's a fun radio, and this is one that I can basically run all day. It's just a tough-looking radio, tough to take the punishment.
Yeah, well, E.F. Johnson was making commercial radios, and so one of those companies that is a radio manufacturer and got into the 11-meter side, unlike some of the other manufacturers that were doing something else, and said, maybe we can make some money on the radios here. Let's see, did you also have the Johnson white face? You just have the 223, right?
Yeah, this is a Messenger 223.
All right, sounds good. Nice audio. It's the complete setup. You can't go wrong with that. This radio was a big seller for E.F. Johnson. They even farmed out the chassis to Sears Roebuck for them to put their name on it. So that's another version to find with the SR logo. 1969 to 1972. I think basically the reason they stopped this version is they went to a solid state version. I want to say it was called the 250 on most of the radios. Even at this time, I think they had a Messenger 323 and a 123 that were more mobile oriented and were solid state. So this is the last of their tube radios. It was just such a good seller, and like you said, a good player for them that I think they held on to it as long as they possibly could, and then when things started taking off in the CB world in '73, they started getting into the solid state, but they knew better. They knew what they had here. Normally sold for around $200. I think with the microphone attached, these would be in the $220 range. So not a bad, considering it was the same price in 1964 for the Pierce Simpson Escort that didn't have the 23 channels. This was a doggone good deal in 1969, and it's sounding great in 2020. Back to you.
Well, thank you much. And I've got the mate to this one, but it is solid state. It's a Johnson Messenger 123. I think it's, I'm not sure if it's S or F or something like that, but it's a solid state, and it looks identical. I mean, body-wise, the whole setup. But the only thing is it's solid state, has double meters, and it has modulation. The other one, the solid state, it has a modulation SWR switch, and it has two double squelches. That's right, double squelches. pouches. It looks identical. Same case. I can use the cover or whatever for this radio if I wanted. But it's a solid state.
Yeah, the 123, the 323, they were one of the first manufacturers to start going solid state early, but this was, like I said, this was such a great radio and a good seller for them that I think they were smart to play it out as much as possible. Let's see. Let me go to, you know what, I didn't get an S-meter reading, so come back with the transmission and I'll put the video on with the S-meter here.
Okay. Doggone it. This is the Johnson original mic, and I had a little trouble getting it, but we finally completed the set, and we're happy.
Yeah, it looks good. It's got forward movement on the meter. Even it gets another bar on the meter when you hit the audio peaks, but I don't hear any distortion, and the audio is good. It doesn't have a lot of low frequencies in the audio, but I think that's the element you've got in there. May be rolled off because the impedance mismatch, but for your voice, it suits it pretty good. Radio number 4 rather, from Joe, and he is on the Johnson Messenger 223. I logged that in at 9:28. Thanks for bringing it by.
Oh, thank you, Dennis, for letting me run this one. Okay, we'll let it go to the next one. Thanks.
And I have located the picture that, and I'll see if I can get it up here, copy image address, from Dave. Thanks for posting that. It's actually in a format that I can bring up. There it is. Big format. Let's go over to that. Let's go over to that one. Okay. Get the close-up. That is from Dave. Going to bring it up on the Variac. 4 watts PEP. Actually, it may play on those, depending on how you tune them. It'd probably play a little bit more, but you want to watch your audio. Make sure you don't tweak it up too high and then the audio goes down. And what's the other gotcha? The on-off switch is on the squelch control. So when you turn that thing on, when the click, as you know, the knob clicks on, you're actually on the squelch control. So if you keep rotating it, thinking it's the volume control, nothing happens, and you actually set the squelch. So you click the one knob up and don't rotate it, and then go up to your volume control and then bring that up, and then you can set the squelch. Good radio. I think there's actually a few mods that can be done for that, but basic stuff, but it really works good. A great little transmitter in that. I used to hear those run with the Demco modulators on the D104, and some of the guys, and I think they could do it with this, but I know it was on the Messenger 2s, they used to run some type of a situation where they run a controlled carrier or an extremely suppressed carrier on those, and I think it allowed them to tweak the final tubes for a little bit more power output, like you would on sideband, but you basically didn't throw much of a carrier. And they sounded interesting. I have yet to find a schematic or a how-to on running these in a controlled carrier mode. Apparently it was pretty easy, and they used to have a switch where you could switch it in and out of that. So there it is, the Messenger, the Viking Messenger that came out, Johnson's first 11-meter Class D in 1959, and there were different versions, a 6-volt version, a 12-volt version, and the 112-volt or 117-volt version. OTR is standing by, and we are looking for radio number 5. And Albert and the gang saying hello up there from Squamish, there in British Columbia, where they are looking for the DX, which might actually be happening. Also happening right now, I think, as you look to the west, just below the Big Dipper, if you can indeed see the Big Dipper, Neowise beaconing. We are sending our tube radio signals out to Neowise and beyond. OTR standing by.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic
Old Tube Radio.
for you.
You mean that's it? No more radios? Come on now, warm some more up.
You know, it's the heat. Everybody's out watching for that comet.
Oh, last night, what, space station? Tonight, the comet, huh?
Yeah, I don't have the space station link. When I was looking for the comet, the space station went right overhead. It was one of the best passes I've seen. Brighter than Jupiter. The azimuth, almost 90 degrees. So I had to settle for that, which you can see almost any night. The comet is going to take a little bit of doing, and when it goes away, you're going to have to stick around a long time.
Roger, roger. Ah, well, good deal. I'm glad everybody's checking all that stuff out. I'm just trying to keep Jeremy awake out there.
He's probably got all sorts of things he needs to fiddle with on his computer. That'll keep him awake, or put him to sleep, maybe.
Oh, he's still standing by here. Still got the stream going. Oh, look at that. Yeah, still got the stream going, too. Oh, you're waiting for more radios there. But if you want to check out what the neighbor does to the SDR, you'll have to watch the replay of what it looks like. I know you got too many things going on right now to check it out, but check it out later here. And I zoomed it out so you can see the whole band, so it's interesting.
Okay, it's actually running on the other page. No wonder my bandwidth is slow. I've got too many things running at Ditchbank SSB Net. It's almost like a digital Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
What do we call that? That's called the proximity effect. The proximity effect.
Exactly.
Boy, I hope I have the right antenna hooked up here. Please tell me this is getting out.
Get out. You're getting out. Over.
Hey, thank goodness. There's one thing I've done right today. Well, greetings. How about a rather tardy check-in from Northwest Fresno in the infamous Radio Lounge at WL 47?
I can do that. We are still here at 9:43 Pacific Daylight Time on the West Coast, where people are running out and looking up to the Big Dipper to see if they can spy Neowise. And let me, I brought up the wrong thing here. Let me go to SWL 47. We'll do that first. And then we'll go back to you for the what for, what's happening, and the radio, which I know. I know this radio. Over.
Yeah, that would be funny if one of my other radios was having some sort of malfunction and was
pinging like what you're listening to. I'm sure I'm not that far away from having something like that happen, but this is, of course, the one that you have probably already figured out from the Radio Lounge, a Browning R27S23. And, you know, all these folks have been, you know, talking about the Comet this evening. I haven't seen it. I've tried a few times, but just no luck. But, you know, I think it kind of brings up my fascination with things that light up. No, this doesn't have a match guide too, but I had forgotten just how ginormous this on-the-air lamp is on the transmitter. And this thing looks great. Now, it's not a comet that's going to come by once every, 6,000 years. But I like this thing, man. Someone ought to make a Christmas ornament with a on-the-air lamp light up thing on there.
Well, if you look at the SDR display that is beaconing at DitchBanks.net, you might perhaps have some type of a Christmas tree display. There it is. I'm putting up the ad. It sort of fits the screen. Maybe that's a little bit better. I wanted to see if I could read it, but I guess I'm going to have to go to the extreme close-up. But Mike is on the first Eagle, the first Browning that took the name Eagle, the R27, the receiver unit, the S23, the sending unit. And as they say, the Browning Eagle is the most modern base station you can buy. So congratulations, sir, for having the most modern station.
That's a good comment. It doesn't really look that modern, but, you know, to be really honest with you, I'm glad. I don't think I like much the aesthetics of modern electronics. It's just not good. Even cars, you know, if you get into a brand new car, at least most of them are some of the ones that I'd love to purchase if I won lottery. They don't even have analog dials, or most of them don't. You know, they've got where these dials used to be, they've got these little LCD screens or whatever. So, was this modern at some point in time? Yes, and I'm glad it by my opinion, it looks way better than modern electronics. What's it have? On the transmitter, it does have a little modulation lamp. It is great. I think, what did we say this was, neon? I can't remember. It looks like the very tip of a Christmas bulb. I think I've got Christmas on the mind or something. That's the second time I've brought that up. It's got a little modulation lamp underneath the S meter on the transmitter. I'm on the original Banana mic that's unamplified, and I'm not really speaking that loudly, and it's definitely winking and blinking. So maybe it's someday. I don't think I've ever heard myself speak on this. Maybe someday I'll do that. So it's indicating that I'm doing something. What's it have on the receiver? It's got another S meter on the receiver. It's got the channel readout and, of course, the frequency as well. I'm almost embarrassed to say this on the air. I'm not on the receiver. It's not receiving on channel 11 right now. I'm on RC, which is, I don't know, it's something in between channel 11 and channel 12. It says RC, and then if you go to the right of the dial, it's, 27095? I think so. So something's got to be adjusted in there at some point in time. But I think it's working okay.
It's working great. Not only am I listening to it, I pulled up the video over at the DitchBank.net SSB, and I'm watching it. And it has its own specific footprint. When you key up, the radio keys up low on frequency and then moves in, and it makes a little J. It makes a little tail. It makes a hook on the carrier insertion on the SDR. I can also see that you are probably low on frequency. I'm assuming I'm close. I'm probably 20 cycles off. But see, there's my signal coming in. But it's pretty cool watching the video. That radio has its own special key up. So if somebody is listening on sideband, they could kind of hear you. It's like the race car driver sort of skids into the pit. You sort of skid into the frequency sideways. Pretty cool on the Browning Eagle R27 S23. And I think you are correct. That is a neon lamp there. The picture we're showing is from Joe's collection, who at one time was SWL 58. He's got the 180 amp in the picture. Just a note, Mike is not running the amp. He's just running the stock radio. These were produced from 1964 to 1966 prior to the Browning Golden Eagle, the R68 T68. The price was $359 for the set. And there was a Series 1 and the Series 2. It says Series 2 base station consists of the R27 Series 2 receiver, the S23 Series 2 transmitter. Some of the differences from the Series 2 are larger meters, neon modulation indicator, which he mentioned, and the lighted on-the-air indicator. Back to you. And I'm going to be watching that video for little hook when you key up.
Okay, so that's actually, to me, that's extremely interesting, this little hook that you're talking about. Does every single radio have some sort of a unique, whatever, signal like that, or a unique little fingerprint as far as the signal that it's putting out?
It probably does. If you have some really good sniffing detection, there's probably ways you can expand it and look at the carrier a little bit better, the audio a little bit better. But that one definitely has a tail. I'm just thinking I might actually be able to put the picture's delayed, but I might actually be able to get that on the air now that I'm actually thinking here. So anyway, I'll go back to you for a transmission. You are radio, and I'm sitting here. Oh, yeah, okay. I got you in as Radio 5 on that, but it's doing nice. A little low in frequency, so if anybody is listening on a very narrow receiver, put your delta tune to the minus side, and you will have no problems. Over.
Okay, yeah, that was my second question I was going to ask you. How far off am I?
Well, I don't have the expanded view of the SDR because it'll say right on the screen, so I'll probably have to do the zero beat here.
Okay. I'll do that. That's fine. If not, no big deal either. I'll just what'll I do? I'll blab and stutter some more and maybe buy you a couple seconds here to see if you want to do that. So what do we want to talk about here? I don't know.
That was good. You're actually not far off, as far off as I thought. I see. Okay, see, he expanded the screen. He expanded the screen for me. Had I have a good thing, so the screen was expanded more. So you are about, I'm going to say maybe 500 cycles different than me. I'm trying to see if I can bring the picture up. First, I got to bring the picture up live here. I'm going to try something. I'm going to switch over to this camera, and then we're going to slide the picture in. Okay. And there's the difference. That's me coming up now. I don't have the camera adjusted correctly, but it's kind of not transferring as good as I would thought. Oops. Why did it do that? All right, well, go ahead and take a transmission. I got to get you on the screen here.
Okay. Well, that did seem like it is quite a bit off frequency. That's a little bit alarming. Maybe maybe I'll have to have a dialogue with someone from the west side if he's around and decided to make himself suffer tonight in the tough shed. I was outside earlier, and boy, it's hot and humid out there and gross. But there it is.
Okay, for those watching the video, there is Michael's signal right now. My signal is the straight line, and as he keys up, you see it sweep in from low and then go to the frequency, which is only about, like I said, it's 500 cycles low, I think. So that's not bad. That's within range. And there he is, and there's the the pictures on either side, the lighter color is his upper sideband and his lower sideband, which is actually what AM is. It's upper and lower sideband. And then I'm thinking that is coming in as my signal, which looks like it's a little bit wider. I'm not listening to the audio. Let's see. I could actually bring the audio up. We're doing a little experimenting here on OTR. And there he is, and there's the pictures on either side. The lighter color is his upper sideband and his lower sideband, which is actually what AM is. So that's actually the replay out of Jeremy's radio, and we're seeing the video from that. So, okay, let me do something. I may have to stay. I'm going to move my transmitter a little bit, and if I stay long enough, we'll see the line move. All right, and I'm getting some feedback. I got to turn that down. So let me get back on frequency. So see if I can stay on long enough to see the movement on the transmitter, and then I'll unkey here because I want to hear more of the tube radio, because that's why we're here. Okay, there we go. Changing the frequency. That's what the Browning is doing, but in a much better fashion. I guess I could write my name maybe. It's like skywriting. All right, to the old Tube Radio Network. Back to you, 47.
Okay, boy, I'm just imagining what that's got to look like. Yeah, you could write your name. It's kind of like an audio etch-a-sketch. That'd be cool. Anyways, well, thanks, as always, for letting me check this in. I think that's what you're doing there is extremely interesting. And, I'm sure there are lots of folks that are online, watching and all that good stuff. And I think that's great. I like just listening to them. It's for me, that's, if there's anyone that's actually listening to the show online or watching it online or whatever, because you're far away, get a radio. They're fun. Something that's really hot, something that smells like burning vacuum tubes, that's like ginormous. That's what it's all about for me. So anyways, thanks for letting me check it in. What a pleasure. And on that, back to you, 73.
Okay, and I apologize to Jeremy because the quality is really not that great because I'm shooting the camera onto the screen to get the picture up. So if you really want the good picture, go to Ditchbanks Net SSB, and you can see the display. But that's what happens on Friday nights, too. If you want to get on sideband, you can actually see what your radio is doing, check your audio. The displays are a lot nicer. You can see the intensity of the frequency in your audio, if you will. And so pretty cool. Cool stuff, like I said, cool stuff radio. If you're an SWL and you don't even have a radio, we probably have people to do that. CB is an easy way to do it. Amateur radio as well. If you're on Class D and looking to get your amateur radio license, keep studying because it's going to get better. And these are some of the tools that you have that you can use with the various frequencies and the radios. All right, thanks, Mike, for checking in radio number 5. I'm not going to stay up too late. It's hot, and people are out doing stuff, looking for the comet. Make a comment on the comet, and we're looking for Radio 6.
49er.
Hey, made it back. We didn't sign out. In fact, we were keeping the I would say the porch light, but we were keeping the 6L6 on for you. Over.
Hey, good deal. Yeah, I was out in the garage working on the old VW bus, getting ready to get that back on the road. But yeah, the 49er and Sweet Country Mama's over here waving a hand at you. We're both checking in here.
Hey, Dennis, Sweet Country Mama waving a hand. Hope you're doing good.
So, yep, thank you much for checking me in, Dennis. And as always, we hope you guys are having a fantastic evening.
Doing great. Things are going swimmingly here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. And thanks for taking time out of your Saturday evening to jump into the Radio Shack and give us the tandem hello radios. Have a great evening.
Hope you do the same.
And since I got the picture up, see, now I want to play. So let's see, what am I going to do? Everybody watch your ears. If you're listening to the audio, it's going to get loud for a second, but I just want to see what it does. What it does on the screen. I think we're still up there, so here we go. So I'm increasing, I'm deliberately distorting the audio and seeing what happens with that. All right, so my apologies to those on the stream. If you're wearing headphones, I'm trying not to shout. All right. And then we go back to, I think, regular stuff. OTR standing by looking for, counting and amounting and looking for radio. What radio are you on? I've lost the paper. Radio number 6.
All right, so I'm gonna kill 2 stones with 1 bird here. That was not perfect. Since no one else is chiming in there, one, let's kind of, if you don't mind, let's sneak in a quick Robin here. I forgot I have to speak pretty loudly into. Second, and maybe more important, is it even possible to see that comet right now? I have spent so much time looking for it and not being able to see it. Is anyone that's listening right now, is it visible? Can you see it?
I see. What Robin are you on before I answer the question?
Oh, I'm sorry. The Robin T123B is in Bravo. I'm sorry about that. I use this one because it's got the instant on feature. So sorry about that. Robin T123 Bravo.
T123 Bravo. That looks like it has a little tiny tail as you key up. It's a little high on frequency, and then little being like, 10 hertz. And then it then jumps in. So again, it has its own footprint. Yes, the comet should be, and I wish Larry was out here because he knows, the comet should be visible in the late evening after sunset. You look to the west or below the Big Dipper. I know I'm messing this up, but I've seen some pictures of people taking it off their iPhones. The caveat is, especially like you and me here in Midtown Fresno, the light pollution is pretty awful. So all the pictures that I see that look good are north of Woodward Park or out by Shepherd Avenue or up by Chuck Chansey, where they're getting out of the light pollution, and then it is pretty visible to the naked. Can he say that on the radio? To the naked eye, and very visible if you have binoculars. But some of the guys have been just holding their phones up and taking pictures that I'm just like, how can that possibly be? And it's not big. It's going to look like Jupiter with a tail, but it's there.
Okay. This drives me crazy. Okay. Well, I'm going to go out and try and look for that sucker. So thanks for the info. Sorry to butt in here at the end of the show, and thanks for letting me check the Robin in. They're fun.
They are the infamous Panasonic chassis. That is our second T123B of the evening, and it is radio number 6. Thanks for bringing it by.
25.
And 25, hello, radio. I hope all is going well at the Big Bash over.
Everything is fantastic. We've just been sitting out in the backyard and listening to your stream and also listening to music. Anyway, Dennis, if I could, I'd like to check in a radio. Over.
I am all ears, ready to check in Lucky Radio number 7. Maybe our last check-in of the evening here at 10:02 Pacific Daylight Time, or that would be, I think, 5:02 UTC. I'm not sure if I have my clock correct. No, I think I set a WWV, but go ahead with your radio check-in, sir.
All righty, Dennis. And anyway, Terry, I don't know if you got my texts, but Terry Kachiver says hello. And anyway, this is the General Radio Telephone MC5. And I know you're familiar with this radio, and I don't want to take up a bunch of time here, but I am talking on a powered tuner plus 3B, but I've got it turned down way low. So hopefully it sounds halfway decent. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
It sounds great. We started off the net. Radio 2 was the general it was Radio 3, General Radio Telephone VS2, which sort of was the mobile companion to the MC5, the VS2 coming out about 1962 or 63. So if one was to get their license and was a general radio telephone kind of family, you would get the VS2 for the vehicle, the MC5 for the base, and you would be good to go. The VS2 did not have the tone signal built in, from what I gather. And this does have the tone signal in the Q-Bird. In fact, we have the Jingle Singers are supposed to have a Q-Bird song that was written by, I'm tongue-tied here, SWL23 Mitch. So hopefully I'll be able to patch into that. But first, let's talk about the radio, and then we can get into the tone signal.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's 5-channel with a with the VFO, and oh boy, you're putting me on the spot here, Dennis. But it does have the secret X channel where you can put insert a crystal dead center in the below the radio, on the face of the radio, right below the secret tone signal alert. And by golly, we have a local and distance switch, VFO, squelch. Boy, that's about it. I mean, it's a pretty simple little radio. Boy, it's got the big old handles on it, though. If you want to yank it around, man, you got handles to hold on to.
You got to love that industrial look. And I'm looking at the ditch banks. Your radio has the little hook. It keys up low and slowly moves into frequency. Just a little bit off, but you can see that. I'm going to have to figure out a way to cameraize what he's doing so I can. This is such a great tool to add to the video. I just have a kind of a bad way of displaying it, but interesting. Thanks, Jeremy, for the video items tonight. A nice audio. I'm looking at your audio, nice and wide. That is that transmitter's got some decent splay. You run the audio on that, and you will be heard worldwide. All right, we'll talk about the tone signal. Give us I don't know, what would you call it? A little blast on the tone signal, and then I am trying to get the attention of the Jingle Singers and see if they've got the music thing ready to go here.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Before I do the tone signal alert, are you saying that I am off frequency? I'm real curious.
No, sir. We are running tonight, or I should say Ditchbanks is running a picture of the radios tonight. Not like the picture I showed that's the actual radio. This is the picture of the transmitted signal through an SDR. And by that, you can see the carrier when you key up, and it's coming up to the screen now. It has just a little blip as it maybe changes 20 or 30 cycles when you key up. And this is the footprint of a tube radio. And then it slowly moves another, few cycles or so until it settles in on its frequency, which is perfectly correct for a channel 11.
Oh, got it. So I kind of need to be a little bit more patient when I key up on this radio, or actually any of the tubers. So, all righty, Dennis. Well, anyway, thanks for checking it in, hanging around as long as you are. I know it's after 10. And by the way, if anybody's curious, here we go with the secret tone signal alert. Anyway, Dennis, back to you. Thank you.
All right, I'm interested to see what the tone Q-Bird tone signal looks like on the meter. Do I still have it up? You know what I can do? I can bring the screen down, and we'll go to this camera before, because I got to run over to the. It's just it's not doing justice to the picture, but there it is. Let's see if. Oh, there it is. All right, it's coming up. There is the Q-Bird. The video version of the Q-Bird. See the squares, the little squares, because it's the different oscillation tones. You can see the upper and lower sideband. And then he unkeys and keys back, and then And then comment. Very, very cool. We are looking at the Q-Bird. All right, I'm not even sure how the heck I'm going to do this. Let me go back to this picture because I need to get, the jingle singers are not paying attention to me. So let me go. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put on this camera. I'm going to have to leave the radio keyed. And I'm going to run over to the other studio and see if they've got, see what the deal is with the Q-Bird thing. So, all right, I'm just going to leave the radio keyed up. This is probably not the best thing to do, and I'm going to get out of the air chair here. And I will be, hopefully we'll get them to come up. So bear with me here. Okay, I don't understand why the jingle singers are on a break. We're in the middle of the net here. Anyway, you have the script for the music, and this should have been already done. You're going to need the music from If I Had a Hammer. It was a Pete Seeger song. It was made famous by Trini Lopez, and we're going to need some sound effects, Q-Bird sound effects. Who's in sound effects? Is it Marge? Marge, can you bring up a sound effect of a Q-Bird? Yeah, that's perfect. A little louder. Can you turn it down a little bit? Back it off. Thanks, Marge. So we take the Q-Bird sound, and then you're going to add who's on strings? Mario. Yeah, can you give me the Trini Lopez version of If I Had a Hammer? Yeah, and then you just have the jingle singers do the lyrics. I don't understand why this wasn't done last week. They don't know. What do you mean they don't know it? You want me to sing it? Well, no, let me, you know how it's supposed to go. All right, anyway. No, less. We want less Q-Bird. Thank you. Okay, let's start from can you start from the top, Mario, on the guitar? Yeah, I'll do a couple of lines. I can't believe that they've never heard If I Had a Hammer. So, Marge, can we have a little less Q-Bird? No, less Q-Bird. All right, and then, Mario, we're going to take it from the top with the guitar, the kind of the Trini Lopez version. Yeah, perfect. And they'll get an idea what we're doing. If I had a Q-Bird, I'd key it in the morning. I'd key it in the evening. All over this band, I'd step on those Rangers, I'd tweet over Brownings, I'd crank out the mod between my tubes and my new Visters, all over this band. So that's the way it goes. Hey, I kind of like that echo effect. It almost makes my singing sound good. Okay, Marge, that's enough on the Q-Bird. Thanks, Mario. Did you guys check the copyright? Marge, that's enough with the Q-Bird. Did you check the copyrights for this? No, I'm not talking about with Pete Seeger. I'm talking about with Mitch. Yeah, thanks, Mario, with the guitar. Yeah, Mitch, he's SWL23. He wrote this thing. If he sues us, we're going to be out of tubes from here to Sacramento. I'm going back to the studio. You guys figure this out. I want this to be going for the end of the show because we're probably going to get more Q-Birds here. I'll see you later. All right, back in the air chair, and OTR standing by. That did not go as planned.
I guess not.
Dennis, that was not me, by the way.
Oh, what was not you?
That was not me jamming you. I was listening, trying to figure out what the heck was going on.
Somebody was throwing a MC5 tone alert.
Well, that was Marge over on sound effects, and she kind of had a little bit of problem mixing it in with the other audio. And in theory, that was all supposed to be done by the jingle singers. I had that script and everything to them like weeks ago, and I said, when we get our first Q-Bird, when we get our first MC5 or MC4, I want you guys to kind of come in, and we'll do that as a little surprise. Mitch came up with the words, and I thought, well, we can maybe skirt some copyright stuff. Anyway, that did not go as planned. But hello, Harvey.
Okay. Let me check in my Golden Beagle. R68C, T68 from Browning Lavatories.
Well, let's see. We've had the, prior to that, the Eagle. And so this is the 66 to 68. All right, I got to fix some audio board. Got all messed up here. Can you still hear me? Over?
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, running in and out of the chair here was not a good thing to do because it kind of messed stuff up. All right, I will. It's really nice over there. That's like the first time I've been. No wonder nobody wants to come over here and sit in the air chair. They want to stay in the air-conditioned stuff. All right, I'm looking for the R68 to T68. There it is. Let me go to the OTR Live. Yeah, all right. Give us another transmission. Over.
Okay. This is the model 1 or 2. I don't know. It's the one with the on-air light on the transmitter and the three-position, slap myself, three-position switch on the receiver RF gate. I have the other model also, but there's no room in here to put it, so it sits in storage. But, yeah. Anyway, this is one of my favorite ones. So I keep it close at hand, as kind of close at hand can be in this place. Anyway, with the D104 unamplified, no range boost, with the medallion that says BL for being late on the back of the head of the D104.
Yeah, nice audio. You must be fairly close to Jeremy. The video on the screen right now is your picture, if you will, on the Browning Golden Beagle with lots of audio and lots of carrier. And in fact, let's see, is your audio?
For being late on the back of the head of the D104.
There it is. That's the audio that goes with that picture, and then that's me coming in at the beginning of the other transmission. So look at my wimpy signal compared to the Browning Golden Beagle. This just shows you that old tube radios rock. Over.
You got that right. Yeah, my voice, to me anyway, sounds really high-pitched. So I guess it must be my Beagle here. Anyway, one of these days I'll key up on my other radio. The one where the paint ran on the name, on the Browning, where it says Golden Eagle, the paint ran on the E, so anyway, didn't come up Eagle. I'll key up on that one of these days.
A good deal. Yeah, well, you know, Browning, they've got the audio. Whatever's in the audio chain rolls off everything from about 200 cycles below. They do not want anything but some classic punchy DX audio. Let's see. I think you're still on the queue here.
Eagle. I'll key up on that one of these days.
Oh, I keep forgetting it's on a delay. Plus, it's the EQ. The EQ isn't correct coming in, and plus I was probably over-modulating a bit on the radio because I don't have you through the compressor stuff just because. So okay, let me undo that and get back to a regular picture here. Too many buttons. You know what? I think that jingle singer thing sort of threw me off. I really wasn't expecting to have to do that. I may have to go back and erase that out of the video. All right, there's the Golding. There's what Harvey is talking on. The transmitter receiver. He doesn't have the speaker in the box, and I don't think he's running the banana-style microphone, but that's the deal. And you are radio number 8, by the way.
Number 8. Okay. Alrighty. Well, not a whole lot of radios this Saturday. Well, maybe next Saturday. Yeah, I was almost falling asleep before I realized it was time to get back in here. Okay, we'll catch you next week. Hey, I made it last week. That's kind of nice. No interruption for a little while. Okay, we'll turn it back to you. I might key up on with a +3 desk mic next time on this radio, since you can play it back and see what the difference is. Although, wait, I have a really dumb mic I can use. I'm just looking at it now. I've got an Electro Voice, what's that one with the triangular bass kinda, and it's got that big old red button. It's got the little meter on it. I forget what model that thing is. And I think you said it didn't quite sound like me with it, but since you could play it back, yeah, maybe I'll try that. It might take me about a minute or so to hook it up.
Okay, now realize the playback is actually coming from, I can do it again, it's coming from Jeremy's radio.
The little meter on it. I forget what model that thing is. And I think you said it didn't quite sound like me with it, but since you could play it back, yeah, maybe I'll try that.
And that's coming through an internet feed, so it's MP3. So I would say unless you can have the microphones where you can plug one in and fairly quickly plug in the next one, so that if I keep the stream running, you'll hear the difference, because it's already less than stellar way to check it, because it's compressed on the internet coming back through my system, and it isn't EQ'd. But that would give you an idea of the differences in your microphone. But you'd have to do it fairly quickly for it to be of value to you, if that makes sense. Over.
Okay. I can do it.
Oh my God.
This is weird. This one is the one with the compression control and the gain control. And I don't know which control is which, because they're not marked on the outside. And I can look at the meter. Let's try something here. That's too much. Okay, that's too much. And I don't know about that. Hello. Okay. I want that sitting about, what have they said about it in the middle? What's that like?
All right, it's coming up on the screen now, and I'm going to give you the playback should be coming up. You basically are the first person I know that made a Browning Eagle sound terrible. Here we go.
Okay, that's too much. And I don't know about that. Hello. Okay. I want that sitting about, what have they said about it in the middle? What's that like?
All right, as you can hear, the gain is so much, you're getting excessive room noise. It sort of looks like a nuclear holocaust on the screen. So obviously you need, what is the deal? You need way, way less audio over. That's way, way, way less. In fact, it almost sounds like you are running a, let's see, you've got a mic input on a board and you're running a line input into it. I mean, way less.
Okay. That's not sound. Okay, I couldn't get it to ping. Okay. That might have been the volume too low, so I just cranked it a little bit. How's that?
Okay, let me get the replay for you. You have another problem. There's another problem going on with that, like mismatch impedance or something. Here we go.
That's not sound. Okay, I couldn't get it to ping. Okay. That might have been the volume too low, so I just cranked it a little bit. How's that?
Okay, let me get the replay. All right, and there you go. You can hear there is a severe quality problem with something going on. So maybe you have a bad element?
Okay. I just cranked it open a little bit. How's that?
All right, that's your best for volume, and here's the replay. But you've got a mic element issue, I really think. Here we go. Coming up. You have to hear me twice. That's bad.
There's something going on. So maybe you have a bad element.
Okay. I just cranked it open a little bit. How's that?
And so that's the best. That's the best that's your volume, that's your gain control, but the quality is not good. So it sounds like there's a mic element issue. Over.
Okay, hello. Wait. Okay. How's that right there?
Getting better. It's getting better. It still obviously isn't anywhere.
Hello. Wait. Okay. How's that right there?
It's still not as good as the other one. Over.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me, I've got two of these, and I don't know where the other one is. Well, there'll be something happening, hopefully a little while where I'll be able to find it. Trying to think, I've got a +3 that I could hook up on here. Maybe I'll do that next week.
Okay. It's still, I mean, you're old enough to know how to make a kazoo with a comb and some wax paper, you know. It sounds like you've made a kazoo and somehow managed to wire it into the Browning. That is my really rude comment for your radio. Over.
Okay, then I will continue to use this one and maybe talk like this.
Well, that's just fine, don't you think?
Number 7.
All right, but I think we've proven our point with radio number 8, and Harvey has made his engineering notes, and I'm sure he will report back to us next week.
I think I didn't have the mic plugged in all the way.
There isn't that many plugs to come apart on a Browning.
Yeah, but if there's a way to get it to not work, I'll find it.
Okay, but it's working. All right, Harvey, I got a couple of breaking stations that I want to check in here before we sign out, but I think you've got the idea, and again, thanks to Jeremy for staying up late and keeping the stream going. That was actually very helpful.
Alrighty. Okay, I appreciate it too. Got a kick out of that. Alrighty, break those stations, but put them back together after you break them. And we'll catch you next week. You have a good week. We'll be out.
All right, so far so good. All right, let me take in order that they were heard. I had SWL7, who was at the microphonium, so I am thinking that is an SWL type check-in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, don't have a tube radio warmed up.
Okay, not a problem. We've got you with the X and the square. You had been proxied in, but we will change the P to an X. And, you know, that increases your real estate on the page greatly. Thanks for checking in.
And thank you.
And then there was another patient station standing by. OTR is listening for you. Over.
131.
And 131. Mr. Rude on page 4. Hi, John. Thanks for hanging in there with us. So we were just doing some testing. I mean, OTR is here for all sorts of things, and testing the radio is one of them. And we had some interesting extra things on tonight where we could do some different testing. So we took advantage of that. Thanks for checking in. Over.
No problem. Anytime.
All right. Any other stations wanting to check in before we sign out? And I have to go talk to the copyright police. Hopefully that version of the video will not get flagged from the estate of Trini Lopez. Any other stations?
Well, if you got room for another radio, let's do a Robin T123. No letter after that.
I can do that. I still have all the paperwork here. Want to get I know it'll be a quick check-in, but I want to get a picture of the Robin T123 because it is definitely a bit different, and for a good reason, with the infamous magic eye. It's not a Q-Bird, but it's still cool.
No, it's not, and I definitely used to play Q-Bert at Cosmic Empire Video Pinball. That was on Blackstone and Escalon. I think it's a furniture shop now, but that was definitely a good game.
It was called Q-Bird?
I'm sorry, Q-Bert. Q-Bert. I thought you were saying Q-Bert, the video game.
Well, I suppose that's what I was saying, but it's, Q, as in the letter Q, B-I-R-D, Bravo, India, Romeo, Delta, for the tone signal. I guess that's the official name. Q-Bird is sort of the slang version of what happens out of the back end of the MC5.
Okay, well, that makes a hell of a lot more sense, because I'm sitting here scratching my head, thinking, man, if I use my imagination, this kind of sounds like the video game, but you kept on adding on more audio there, and well, there it is.
There it is. Citizen Band transceiver. Q-Bert likes it, and there might have been maybe somebody's actually had a handle. Q-Bert. How about it, Q-Bert? 12-volt DC, 115-volt AC. You can find more about it on Sam's CB35, page 95. 11 tubes. I think that's the first time. Chrissy's always asking me, well, how many tubes? All right, just for Chrissy. This has 11 tubes, and it has 2 transistors for you transistor people.
There it is. And I will sign off by saying, frequently in the show I hear Lawrence, Kansas, unless I'm mistaken. I think I hear that place mentioned quite often, as a matter of fact. And I don't know, I sort of know what the connection is there, but if that individual is still involved there, I'd like to say thank you, because apparently the people of Lawrence, Kansas really helped out in the 1983 film, The Day After, about what life would look like if a nuclear bomb went off, or nuclear war started back during towards the end of the Cold War. So the movie, 1983, it's called The Day After, and at the very beginning of that flick, it says, "We are grateful to the people of Lawrence, Kansas, for their participation and help in the making of this film." So there it is.
Interesting. I will try and keep this brief since we're over time, but The Day After, it was I forgot about this, 1983. It was an ABC miniseries, because I was actually working at the TV station here when we aired that the first time. It was one of those big, I wouldn't call it a miniseries, but it was a big deal. And I was there, it's in the end of the world type of thing. So I was actually there at the station. And sometime near when all the chaos is breaking loose with the possible nuclear issue, I don't want to give anything away, but he's saying, what the heck is he talking about? Our transmitter here in Fresno of the station went off the air for about 10 seconds. And so people at home are watching the thing and, being frightened per se, kind of, sort of, and then the station goes to shh, and then it comes back. And we're all like, at the station. I'm not sure what happened, but that happened in the middle the show here locally for the day after. And I will have to ask Frodex, who definitely was not in Lawrence, Kansas at that time, if they have some type of special memorial or studio thing or something. If you go to Lawrence, Kansas, you can go and stand in the spot. This is the spot, that was supposed to be the silo on the day after. All right, that's all I'm going to say, and I totally forgot about that thing that happened 40 years ago or however long ago it was, and see if there's a Lawrence, Kansas connection. Over.
That's absolutely phenomenal. I had no idea that such a great story was going to come out of that. Boy, Orson Welles, I don't know if he was alive at that point in time, but Orson Welles would have been very proud of that transmitter in Fresno going down. I can only imagine. I wish I would have watched it when it was broadcast live, but unfortunately I was grounded and I couldn't watch it. So thank God for YouTube.
Dennis, trivia.
All right, this is I think we're going to go all night here tonight, and that's a good thing. Thank you, Mike, for the Robin T123 and also the T123B, a walk in the past for the day after, which I totally forgot. If I was really good, I probably would have had a poster, because a lot of us, they used to give us the promotional posters from ABC, and I still have some. I think I've got one for the Fresno miniseries, because they would give them out and you would keep them, but I don't know if they have one for the day after. So that would probably be worth what, $5. Let's see. Over to Harvey with a comment. Over.
Here's a little trivia. Looked it up. Says Lawrence had some great locations, and the people there were more supportive of the project about the film. Suddenly, less emphasis was put on Kansas City. Okay, Kansas City people, the decision was made to have the city completely annihilated in the script. In other words, Kansas City. And Lawrence was made the primary location in the film. Well, there you go, Kansas City. You should have been more supportive.
And that's probably available on something. There's all sorts of chatter going on the video, which I'm missing. I'm going to have to, when I sign out here, go and read what's happening. Of course, I won't be able to comment on it. Talking about Blackstone and Princeton. All right, I have no idea what's going on, and I can't update my stuff. All right, thanks for that. Any other items of interest before I try signing off for the third time here on the Old Tube Radio Network? Getting some strange noise tonight. But my noise blanker is in. Yeah, talking about the noise thing. See, that's the deal with the MC5, for those talking about it. It was built into the radio, as he said, and the FCC didn't like built in. If it was a microphone that you plugged in, they didn't like that either, but it wasn't part of the radio. You could get rid of it by unplugging it. Or if it was a tone alert call or something that was an attachment like Eve Johnson had that attached to the radio and made the noise, you could get rid of it. But when it was built into the radio, that was kind of a no-no. And the way they had it is you could lock the button down and cause, as they say, malicious interference. Penny candy. Okay, there you go. Talking about penny candy. Let's see. Anything else? And then I will put the old Tube Radio Network to bed.
Me again. I looked up the film and locations, and it's got a whole big nice deal on how Lawrence was kind of chosen and how it got written into the script and how the people lobbied to have the actual name Lawrence used instead of another one, even though they would use name, which kind of meant changing some signs and this and that, I guess. But the people lobbied to say, leave it Lawrence, and which I guess saved the production company money on not having to change sign names and all that. But that's interesting. I'm reading it, so okay. Take care. Catch you next week.
Okay, good deal. Cosmic Empire. There's a commenting on a thread that's going on here. There was the Penny Candy, and there's a T-shirt shop. I don't know. And there's also like a unique boutique over by the original Fresno Egg. All right. Let's see, Dave. I wanted to address your item here. Let me put the. Let me grab the right mouse and go to the right picture and address your item. So I'm going to unkey. And there is that constant S6 that you mentioned. And the reason that is there is because I have my RF gain set, and I will unkey again, and I will rotate the RF gain and watch the S meter. Now we're at S7. And what I do is I take a look at some audio meters and I attenuate the noise floor to about minus 20 or 30 dB on the audio. And that is for our listener, our digital SWLs, so that they don't have to listen to a full, 0 dB of just noise because of the way we're doing this. So I adjust the noise with the RF gain, and unfortunately that changes where the S meter reads. So here we go. That's the RF gain open all the way. That's what you would normally hear, that intensity of background noise. But typically, and I adjust it around there so that it attenuates the noise, but it messes up the S meter. There's other ways to do it. I could turn off the preamp, such as this, and open up the RF gain like that. And now you see there's nothing on the meter. Let's do a test. Harvey, are you still there? Over.
Oh, yeah, I was reading. This thing's interesting. The guy that directed the film, Nicholas Meyer, had just finished directing Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. He directed the movie. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I was just using you as a test on the S meter. Now, that is another way to do it, to turn off the preamp. But what happens, Harvey's got a decent signal. He's S8 or S7. If I turn the preamp back on, it'd be S9. But what happens when I do that is the stations that are very far out, they don't make it into the receiver loud enough to be heard. So I need to turn the preamp on and then back off the RF gain. So that's the deal. That's after years of figuring out how to do this. When you're, if it's just me, it's no big deal. But since we're putting this out on the internet, it's like what's going to sound the best for people listening so that they don't go crazy. And that seemed to be the way to do it. But that's not to say we can't change things. Or if I have a different radio, which sometimes I do, but not since I've been streaming because of the audio stuff, then there will be different configurations. But that's the long story to what's going on. And I know it's like if you're an S meter person like I am, it's like it drives you nuts. It's like why isn't it moving? Why isn't it doing that? But that's why, because I'm using the RF gain. Okay, other things. Anybody else? Over. Okay, I will finish up the counting and mounting. We'll be right back. Oh, the jingle singers are supposed to do their thing. I know they can do this one. They can't seem to do the Q-Bird deal, but maybe they can do this one, the Old Tuber Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
See, what also happens is, oh, wow, that's too loud. What also happens is you don't see much on the incoming meter now, do you? It's almost as if no one is there. Okay, let me make sure my audio is where it should be. I've been fooling with controls tonight, and that is a bad thing. Let's go over to, all right, the REA meter. That'll tell me a lot. That actually tells me a lot. Here's another thing, since we've got the video. That is also a function of audio going out of the transmitter. So if where's my control? If I bring my audio down and I undermodulate, something like that, maybe not. Can I do? Oh, you know what? I can't do that. That's a different audio stream. I have to do it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that bringing it down? All right, there it is. Now I'm undermodulated to those listening at 27085 at about, what is that, like 50% modulation. But the scope never lies. So we bring it back up to hopefully about 100, or we're actually doing asymmetrical modulation, so it's peaking above 100, but what I need to do is keep my negative peaks rather below, what have I got to set at 98%. So that light shouldn't flash too much. The Jingle Singers then said,
ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
Current totals and final totals. I am sorry I'm talking so much tonight and even singing. I apologize for that yet again. 11 SWLs on page 1, 16 on page 2, 16 on page 3, and 18 on page 4 for a total of 61. In 9 radios tonight. It is warm. A lot of people out doing things or not doing things, assuming they could possibly be sheltering in place or whatever you're supposed to be doing to be safe. But 9 radio is not bad, and as usual, we have a good time at 10:46. So my apologies to those who have signed out, who I didn't catch and say goodbye to. I'm having some issues with the comments not refreshing all the way, so, and that will probably get worse. Radios tonight, 9 radios, and the most heard manufacturer, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Robins, with a total of 3. Started off with the Pierce Simpson Escort from Paul, SWL 45. Another one of their cool-looking, very nicely designed radios, and way back in 1964. They were way ahead of the curve on the designs, I think. The Robin T123B Radio 2 from Joe started off the Robins tonight. So, Joe, you led the way on the Robins there. Radio number 3, the General Radio Telephone VS2, Vibration Surface 2. Service 2, that was from Paul. Radio 3. Radio 4, the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, and that was from SWL 60. Radio 5, the Browning Eagle R27 S23 from Mike. Radio 6 was also SWL 47 on the Robin T123 Bravo. Jerry, SWL 7, he's the one to blame. He brought by the General Radio Telephone MC5. At least that let me know that the Jingle Singers do not pay attention to what I say. Thanks, Jerry, for that. And all you Q-Bird fans, radio number 8, the Harvey on his Browning Laboratories Golden Beagle R68, T68. And we ended with the Robin T123 with the Magic Eye from Mike. One more time. Let's see. I'll say goodnight to all those who are staying up late with us. We should be back next week, same time, same channel. And I know a lot of you do a Get on the Air night or get on the air with your radios. And that is a good thing. Don't forget to keep studying for your amateur radio exams if you are doing that, or upgrades, or maybe even just getting on the air somewhere, somehow. Thanks to Frodex. Search Lawrence.com. There's that Lawrence thing we talk about for the Nixie tubes and all that good stuff. And we will catch everyone later tonight or sometime. I don't know. I better get out of here before something blows up. I can't believe everything stayed pretty sane tonight. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Dennis, and thanks a whole bunch. Love the show.
Good night, Dennis. Thanks again.
Hey, Dennis, thank you for a great net, and I'm going to try increasing my screen resolution for next week. That way, if you grab it there for your streaming software, maybe it'll be a little bit better picture for you. Anyways, thanks again. I hope everybody has a great week. 73.
Okay, well, don't diss yourself too much. It's really a poor way that I'm doing it by shooting the screen with the camera. It works. Once I woke up and realized that I could do that, it was actually kind of interesting and helpful to know. You see those old tube radios, and they all kind of have that footprint. So if I was really good at this and was doing it for a while, I bet you could get to the point where you would just see the video. You'd see the picture, the SDR of the radio, and you could probably tell whose radio and which radio it was. Pretty cool. So thanks for leaving that up tonight, and I will probably go back and listen. I've got the audio through the board, but I kind of have it EQ'd funny. But it was nice. It was nice to kind of get a comparison between all the signals. All right. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Bozo Control.
Okay, and what do? We hit the end stream button, and then it all goes away, like letting the air out of a balloon. Watch out, everybody.